Welcome to the Best Ball Basement here at Spike Week. I am, of course, your host, Erik Beimfohr, soon to be joined by my friend and co-host, Rob Coakley. And what we do in the basement is we chop it up like some best ball bros that we are. We talk about some silly things. And tonight we're going to talk about our favorite hip-hop albums of all time while we draft a couple of Best Ball Mania teams on Underdog. Let's get to it. All right, Rob, this was your idea for a show. Hold on, let me move some stuff around here. We got there we go. This was your idea for a show. I love it. I've already also noticed when I posted in the Discord the link to the show that there was some hatred for one of my favorite rappers of all time. So I don't know how well this is going to go for me, but I'm excited to talk a little bit of a culture, our childhood. Which of course is what we do a lot here in the basement, which of course I am notably literally in a basement. And we're going to draft probably a couple of Best Ball Mania teams while we do it, hang out and talk some Lil Wayne, some Eminem, some Pac, some Biggie, some whatever, and see what the folks in the chat like as well.
Yeah. And I wore a very special shirt for this show. This is my, I had a listener send me this shirt and I had to put the X over the heart for my I Heart Ohio shirt.
That's great.
So we have that one on. So probably no Bone Thugs on my list.
Nope. But so I have a very, very. I don't know how you did that. Let's talk about how the sausage got made here really quickly. Because I'm genuinely curious how you did this. I did start just like going back, and I'm like, I don't know how you do your music either. I have a Spotify list. I know other people like break down into different playlists. I have one playlist that is like 1 billion songs.
Yeah.
On it. Like anytime I just like either like think of something or run into a song that's not on the playlist, I just go and I add it. So it's this never-ending playlist. And so I just over the last 2 weeks, turn on the playlist, let it, scroll through. Every once in a while, I would run into a song where I was like, "What that album?" I was like, "I don't have a lot of the other songs on that album." I might go back and listen to that one. But it was really like not an exact science of a process. But I found myself answering this question that we're trying to answer tonight in a different way than I thought maybe. I started to jot some things down, and I was like, let's just listen for a week or two. And I think my answers are different than even I would have expected. But I have a long list, and then I kind of started to slowly trickle it down to 5 or so albums.
Yeah, I ended up putting together a bit of a honorable mention as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like you, I have a giant playlist. It's called Giant Playlist, and it will cycle between Pink Floyd, Eminem, Dean Martin, like it just goes Frank Sinatra,
yep,
Rob Zombie, like it will just go all over the place. My playlist, 112, like it'll go 112, Korn, Dean Martin, and you're like, who are you?
Destiny's Child, yeah, like that. That was my. I worked out before I did the Rotogrinder show before we baseball show, and I was working out beforehand, and literally what you just experienced happened to me. The a Limp Bizkit song went into a Dr. Dre song, went into an NSYNC song, and into a Destiny's Child song, like in mid workout. And I was like, this describes me perfectly. This describes me perfectly. Just nonsense.
So my list, I actually just flipped my 1 and 2 after I had for 2 weeks was pretty sure who my 1 and 2 were, and I was just giving it some more deep thought and changed it a little bit. But I went with albums that are like my favorite or important to me or that I thought was the best. I know there's arguments for other albums that people are going to say this is a better hip hop album. That's not even on my list. And I get that. I think my number 1 is the best hip hop album of all time. I know nobody else will probably agree with me, but it's more about like what I like who I was into or who I'm into, albums that I can listen to more often than not. And I just want to give a shout out to my friend Keith, who I was like bouncing ideas back and forth with because he's like a huge hip hop head. And he reminded me of one particular album that's in my honorable mentions that when I was listening to it, I was like, holy shit, I forgot how good this album is. So when we get to that, I'll tell you which one that is.
So that's how I did this too. That's how I did when we did the it's your first time hanging out in the basement, which is still going to crack me up for all of eternity when we use that phrasing. That's how I did the show with the jersey numbers, where like the kind of assignment was the best player at every jersey number, right? And I was like, I know I'm going to get like 10% of those actually right. You know, like the obvious ones I'll get. And then, but I was like, I'm going to make it about like, I found it more fun to be like, I'm going to go through and do that. I'm going to do the assignment. Right. And I knowing I'm going to fail, but I want to think about the guys who were like most, like that came to my mind the most, that were most impactful to me. The like, you know, so like I said, like number one to me is Penny Hardaway's not the best number one ever, but he's the most impactful to me. Ken Griffey Jr. is probably not the best 24 ever, but he's the most impactful to me. We joked like I have a fucking Darius Miles jersey, but he's impactful to me for silly reasons, but like sentimental reasons. It's like those kinds of things. It was funny that I also have an Ozzie Smith little picture on my wall, and he was the number one. So I argued against my own St. Louis guy on that show, but that's how I did the hip hop albums as well. It was I actually would probably say that the ones that I'm going to talk about tonight are not the best. Like no one's going to agree they're the best hip hop albums of all time, but they were the ones that just to me, you know, I'm a 90s child. I was an 80s baby and a 90s child, and so some of probably the best hip hop albums were not necessarily when I was like becoming a music fan. You know, like, so I full like spoiler alert, I don't have a Pac or a Biggie album on there. They're very much so on the honorable mention list to me. And that's gonna, you know, some people are going to be like, KRS is probably listening around. He turned us off last week, a few numbers in, because we didn't talk about some of the boomer guys, and like he's probably going to turn us off already, and that's okay. But it's definitely more about the like the nostalgia of it to me, and the things that like I'm still listening, like I straight up I'm still listening to the songs on these albums like frequently, like very, very frequently, because I listen to music still a lot.
Do you want to hit our honorable mentions before we jump in a draft, or do you just want to save those for the end?
Let's talk about some of the ones that were not necessarily honorable mentions that were actually close, but like as you went through this process, because I mean my list is very long of honorable mentions. So like as you went through this process, the things that you took note of as honorable mentions that you were like, this album was awesome. It's not going to make my top 5, but what were some ones that jumped out to you?
So stuff that jumped out to me when I was doing this list was, I'll give an example of someone who I wanted to really put on this list as a top 5 and find the album, but I don't know if I can. Oh God, I don't want people are going to hate me for this. I love this artist. He was amazing, but he's more of a like grab 3 or 4 songs from his albums artist. And he would come out with a CD every year, and there was like 3 to 4 bangers every single album. And that was DMX. Like,
oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood it has some really good tracks on it. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And then there was X. Those 3 albums have some bangers, but they're not albums that I can put on and press play. And and as much as I love DMX, I can only take DMX at certain times and for certain durations. So I hope I'm not stepping on one of your top 5, but that's like, that is one of the guys that I wish I could have put on, but there just wasn't room. And yeah, I just couldn't get there.
So funny, on my honorable mention, both I put so I also did some of this where as I was going through, similar to what you said, like if you go the process of going through just like turning on your playlist and letting shuffle go, you'll run into the artist, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, Rough Riders anthem comes on, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, you take note of that, right? And then, but then sometimes I had to go to like, I'm literally Googling the album, and then you go dogs. This is quite fitting.
They heard we were talking about DMX.
DMX If you were curious, this was not planned. The barking of the dogs during the DMX segment. That's hilarious. But okay, hey, zip it. But it was like I had the same thing. I was like, man, there's like a couple songs on all of his albums that I'm like, these are on my playlist, but the whole album is not like I don't go through and like just like I wouldn't put that. I mean, I did put the CD back in the day, but like I'd probably skip songs back in the day on those albums. Whereas some of these other ones that we'll get to, it was just like I found it like I literally went and like any song that was on the album got added to the playlist like in the midst of this experiment. So I totally agree. Like that's a really good one.
And says that It's Dark and Hell's Hot is full play, no skips. I do think it's probably his best. I think it's his best album though.
It's the one I put on my honorable mention. It's his best, but I don't think it's no skips.
Yeah. Do you have one that you wanted to throw out there?
That's a good. You know who came up for me in this similar idea? I actually found. I'll just say it, the Twista album Kamikaze came up during this process for me, and it would never make my top 5. But it was one of those similarly where I was like, man, that dude had a bunch of bangers for like 5 years or something, you know. And he was the famous, right, like really fast rapper. So like you can just like never make it when you're kind of a gimmick act like that, you know. It's like being a magic comedian, you know, or like who is the guy that did the puppet, the guy that was the puppet comedian or whatever that was like super famous for a while. Jeff Durham. It was like Jeff Durham. He's like incredible, but you can never be on Mount Rushmore if you're a puppet comedian, right? And like that's what Twista was to me. But it was really good. Like he's like the Jeff Durham of hip hop artists. But I went through and I was like, damn, this album still hits. You know, like I couldn't put so that's a. But DMX is a. I'm not trying to put DMX and Twista in the same category, but maybe I am, where it felt like that to me. It was like, I'm not sure. They're definitely not the best lyricists. They're probably a little bit gimmicky, but they brought it for a stretch of my childhood. And I remember putting Kamikaze in again. Like I remember being in the old beater, put the Kamikaze in your whatever crappy, I had a 1993 Buick Century was my first car that I drove for a long time, and naturally that thing didn't come with a CD player, so you had to go get one from whatever sound company. And I remember bumping. You know, you had to go get we just had at the 4th of July party a conversation about this with some people. Like you had to go get the subs. You know, you go get the amps. You get this. Like I spent all my money on clothes and shoes and subwoofers and shit for this 1993 Buick Century. But we had some fun times with Twista songs back then. Adrenaline Rush, you know, Creep Fast, all these different songs that were great. And he fit into this that I thought was funny, that I truly, like when I started this, I was like, not even a chance. I went back and listened to the whole album and I was like, that was fun. That was a good fun listen.
Yeah. And it was Jeff Dunham, not Jeff
Dunham.
I said the name wrong, but I'll give one more honorable mention. Beastie Boys' License to Ill from 1985. And the reason I'm giving, at least notating this has 3 back-to-back bangers on this album. It goes from Fight for Your Right to No Sleep Till Brooklyn to Paul Revere. And Paul Revere is absolutely the best Beastie Boys songs of all time. So honorable mention to that album because like it's a lot of fun. It also has Girls and I think Brass Monkey's on that one as well.
Brass Monkey.
Yeah. So I mean that's another notable one. I'll just give my last notable one. I wanted to do a Ludacris album, a little bit like DMX though.
He's like he fits in the DMX Twista category where you're like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so I was I think I was word of mouth over Back for the First Time, but those were my
hold on. I think I have Luda on it, or maybe I didn't even put a Luda one down. I think I went through the Luda ones and I was just like, no, this is a waste of my time.
He was fun though. He was like you said with Twista, like if you went to
everybody
the club,
knows Ludacris.
Yeah,
everybody knows
the club, you knew you were getting a Twista song, you knew you were getting a Ludacris song or two.
Dude, Move Bitch is still one of the most legendary songs of all time. It's not great lyricism, but it's fucking phenomenal. Like if you went to the club after 6 drinks and Move Bitch went on, you and everybody were hyped as shit, you know?
Yeah, absolute banger.
He got a little too deep in the Fast and Furious world for me. I think that's when I lost I lost a little bit of the the love for Luda when he went from the hip hop artist to the the race car driver in movies.
Dude, he's made so much money off of that.
So much money.
Do you know the story behind that though? That wasn't supposed to be him. That was supposed to be Ja Rule going
Well, thank
on,
God.
and he
At
turned
least
it
it
down.
wasn't. Ja Rule turned down Fast and the Furious and did
Yeah,
Firefest instead.
He was in the first one, and he was supposed to. They were trying trying to get him to come back for part 2. He turned it down, and now Ludacris has probably made millions and millions and millions off of that franchise.
And Ja Rule is a laughing, like in this conversation, Ja Rule had a lot of good songs from our like childhood, but like he's like a laughing stock in the hip hop world. Like,
yeah.
Have you heard some of the bits? So 50 Cent will come up, ironically, not a great lyricist, but had some good albums. One of my seriously still to this day favorite like clips. He went on one of the late night talk shows. I don't remember who, if it was Fallon or Letterman or Conan or whatever. And they brought up, this is back in the day, and they brought up the beef with Ja Rule. If you remember, 50 and Dre and Eminem and all the, those guys all hated Ja Rule. And Ja Rule lost that battle like 10 times over, but
a million times.
I don't know why. Like you want to talk about digging your own grave? Like, stop going at the Kings, dude. You're just not good in it. Like, it's like if I went after I don't know, like I'm not going after Overzet, and I'm not going after Karain. I'm not going after, I'm not going after Squirrel Patrol and DFS. Like that's stupid, right? I'm not going to win that battle. And Ja Rule was like, this was post, so 50's done rapping. He's in the, the business mogul part of his career. And Ja Rule's trying to make a comeback because he's broke. So he's trying to do music again. And he's doing concerts, at small venues, right? And 50 found out. And he bought out the first like 20 rows of the place or whatever. And obviously no one went. And so Ja Rule shows up to the concert and nobody's fucking there. And like, imagine it's bad enough music. Now imagine you don't have the crowd getting to murder, right? Nobody's getting excited when he's doing that. It's just like crickets. That's like such a good bit, dude. That was like full respect. Like 50 Cent is whatever, but like when he was pranking Ja Rule, like still like 20 years later, that was just awesome.
Yeah, it was. I remember that story. So good. So good. I love 50.
All right. I am going to pop into, for any of you that would like to join for a draft while we are doing this, I'm popping into a Best Ball Mania 22nd draft right now. Oh, wow. Needs 11. Shit. Full straight up friends and family draft we're going to have here. But we're going to draft some best ball teams here on Monday nights as well. If we can get 2 done, we'll get 2 done. If not, we'll do this one. But any other notable, before we start to get into the meat and potatoes, was there anything else notable that you kind of stumbled across along the way?
I mean, there's so many, but to me, those were the notables. I'll say some more notables after the list is done, so that we don't tip some stuff. But I think that's the ones that I can say for now.
All right, go first then. Where did you kick it? You don't have to. So I didn't order. Oh,
mine. You didn't? I have mine ordered. All right, I cheated for my number 5.
It was too hard. This was too. It was, dude. It was so hard to just come up with 5. Ordering them was like, I'm not putting myself in a fucking torture chamber to do this. This is bad. This is rough enough as it is.
All right, my number 5 is a 3-way tie because I couldn't.
I love it.
Circling them in and out. So I'm going to start with Jay-Z's Black Album. I know a lot of people will pick the Blueprint over the Black Album.
I picked Blueprint. I don't have it on my list, but Blueprint is I chose the Blueprint as my honorable mention over the Black Album.
But Encore, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, 99 Problems, and the most important song on this entire album, Public Service Announcement. Probably one of my favorite verses in all of hip hop is the first verse in Public Service Announcement. It just goes so hard every time you're out with your friends and stuff. Like that one. Like it's just, to me, that's the best Jay-Z album. T.I.'s Urban Legend. This is the one that my friend Keith reminded me of. Urban Legend is fucking fire, dude. That's the one that has Motivation, You Don't Know Me, ASAP, Bring 'Em Out is on that album. And then all the other songs on that album, he has the best cameos on that album. It goes like Nelly, it just, the list is insane.
Nelly, Wayne, Eminem, like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like he has everybody on that
Yeah.
album. Yeah, but I don't think people know about, like, you just like scrolled over like ASAP and Motivation and stuff, and like I'm not sure I mean the people listening to this probably do, because if you're tuning into this, you're aware of a lot of this nonsense we're going to talk about here. But those are like incredible songs. Like some of the best Ti songs are on that album for sure, but they're not the most popular Ti songs.
Yeah. I thought I might have been leaning to King, but it's Urban Legend is his best album. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So I don't have a Ti on there, but again, I have I basically have an honorable mention for like all of my favorite artists, and I did put, because I went back through and listened to both of them for this exact purpose. And I did put King. I did put King as my Ti album, but I have this is like a 2 4th round wide receivers. And I have one ranked at 37, and you have the other guy ranked at 37. Like, they're both great. I like both of them. No pushback.
All right, you're on the clock here. Let's get
I am on the clock. Let's do a little BTJ action.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get my picks through here. Ti is a good one. I'm a little surprised that Ti made it onto honorable mention. Who was the?
That's number 5. This is my 3-way tie for number 5.
Yeah, who was the third? Did you do a third? I'm sorry,
I didn't do the third. I didn't do
the
third yet. I'll do it after your next pick, because we got to see what you can. Oh, are you not going to do Jinty here?
I mean, but Jinty BTJ is not like anything crazy.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be kind of standard.
I haven't been doing Jinty. This is a perfect time to do a little something different.
Yeah, I think this is why I'm going to start taking Jinty, is this back end draft that you can get them. But to your point, I think Brian Thomas Jinty is going to.
Can I ask a question about so some people are bringing up some different albums in here from some artists that are going to make both of our lists, I imagine. Do you need something? She's giving me shit for talking about best ball and hip hop albums. If an artist had multiple, did you only keep it to one?
I did
per artist. Okay.
Yeah, there is one artist I'll bring up later that there were 2 albums that I definitely would have probably put on my top 5, but I wanted to keep it to 1 album per artist. My last number 5 is Nelly, Country Grammar, because I like to vibe sometimes just in the car. And I don't think there's a better rapper to just like sit back and vibe to than Nelly. Is he the best rapper? No. But like, he just has like a flow that's like calming for the most part and fun and just chill. So like, EI is my favorite Nelly song of all time, but it also has Country Grammar, Batter Up, St. Louis, Ride With Me. Nellyville was a good album, but I still think Country Grammar was his best album.
Oh, Country Grammar over Nellyville all day, every day. As a St. Louisan, we have an overlap, and I can't believe we had an overlap with Nelly, and it is Country Grammar. And this definitely is one that came into my sentimental area for sure. I don't think most people would, but it would make I did a little Googling of the best hip hop just to see. I did my thing first, and then I went and saw like, how crazy am I? Like, I wanted to see like, please tell me my 5 made the top 100 or whatever, because I would feel very stupid. And of course they did. But Country Grammar's on, is on all of those. Like, but it's like especially if you're from the Midwest, it doesn't have to be St. Louis. Like, Nelly was like the first thing that like took the Midwest by storm. Like, people started wearing, like, dude, in my high school, people started wearing Band-Aids on their cheek to school. Like, he was a cultural icon.
Jerseys
in that album.
Backwards.
The Midwest just got like Country Grammar just overtook like the Midwest. Batter Up though for us is like Batter Up is my favorite Nelly song for sure. He has some good ones. And once we got to Suit Sweat, I was like, oh, okay, I think we've reached the limit of like, go do something else with your career and your life now, Cornell. But it was a Country Grammar, early Nelly, early St. Lunatics. I do notably have the St. Lunatics album on my honorable mentions as well. Midwest
Free
Swing
City.
is my free city.
Free
Midwest
City?
Swing
What?
is my favorite. I'll
It's a
bump Midwest
Midwest
Swing.
swang.
Yeah, that is the most Midwest shit of all time, dude.
I loved it.
It's so good. But yeah, so you instantly played to my St. Louis and my local St. Louis.
What you think, we live on a farm?
Dude, it's so
great
good.
opening line.
So what the interesting part is, Murphy Lee is probably more beloved in the local St. Louis area than Nelly is.
I like Murphy Lee. I think he was underrated.
This is a little Terry McLaurin fall here. I'm
Terry McLaurin right at the back end of the third.
That's nice. Oh geez, I have 67% in BBM. 67% of my Terry teams have Daniels. I mean, that's okay, but just surprising because I have 6% Jaden Daniels. Yeah, Murphy Lee, but Murphy Lee is like the huge ambassador for. I'll just do Daniels. But like Murphy Lee still, I think I've told this story. I played for Murphy Lee. Murphy Lee has a really competitive slow pitch softball team. Like he's like, and Nelly was a really good baseball. Like
Nelly's probably the best rapper athlete there ever was.
Awesome athlete. Like truly, like really, like could have played big time college sports, and baseball was his best sport. But they all played baseball and stuff. And Murphy Lee started like a really good slow pitch softball is big here. Like not just like go to your local beer league on Tuesday nights, like huge tournaments and all that kind of stuff. And he has a really good team. And I got to not to play for like a summer, but like, so I don't want to venture into sketchy waters, but there's the Black American Softball Association, that BASA that they call it, that, so it's for Black guys. But you have to have a certain amount of white guys on the team when you play in these tournaments. It's pretty funny actually. And this is when I was getting going. I was starting to get to be decent, but I wasn't hadn't reached my peak yet, which my peak was only a couple of years. And one of my buddies who I played with on my tournament team was like, I play with Murphy Lee's team. They need an outfielder, and they need a white outfielder specifically. And he's like, would you want to come play this weekend? And I'm like, I mean, I can't pass, you can't pass up this opportunity. Murphy Lee rolls up in an Escalade, but the only seats that were left were the two front seats, right? So the driver's seat, and he's in the passenger seat. The back, where all the rest of the row, the two other rows of seating would be, and the trunk, is nothing but a cooler full of booze, iced up, like bottles of, back then it was the Hypnotic was the popular drink. We're dating ourselves, but it was, and these guys just show up and they open the doors and just smoke is rolling out of the way. It was, and I'm playing right field, which is how they put the shitty white kid out in right field, right? Like and when they hit me the ball, dude, they would, oh man, like if I didn't have thick skin, like the people in our best ball universe that can't handle arguments and stuff like that, I'm like, I wish you would have come played for that team, just one game to see what happened. Like, dude, when I walked up to the plate, it was like, if I wasn't tough, like I would have probably cried. Like the shit that they said to me was so disrespectful. I had to earn my way that weekend, but it was a ton of fun. And yeah, I mean, Murphy Lee is just like a legend in St. Louis. So shout out to the St. Lunatics.
That's awesome. Did you see that? I don't know how deep we want to get into this, but Ali G recently is trying to sue Nelly, and he put all the other St. Lunatics on it, and they all
said
backed
no.
out. They were like, we don't want to be on this. And they showed up to a concert with Nelly that night, except for him. Yeah. It's
a weird deal. Ali was notably the worst St. Lunatic, like talent wise and everything. And I don't think that they were all that good of buddies anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's do our next two picks here, and then I guess I'll just do mine and see like if it correlates with any of yours as we go up my list.
You go, and then since that was my I would also probably call that my number 5.
All right, so you're gonna be on the clock here. You have Daniels McLaurin stack. You have Ginty, you have Brian Thomas Jr. It's a bazillion running backs.
Yeah, I hate this so much. But this is a great. This is
Yeah, you got to
a
take
phenomenal team to get a little, because I have not been taking much Olave, but I'm good with that. And then I will probably take one of these running backs. You see, I love the rookies. 24% Harvey, 29% Henderson.
I was hoping you could have got Ken Walker here, but
I was hoping so too, because I don't love Mixon so much. I literally have the exact same exposure of let's do Harvey.
it's got to be Harvey, right?
Yeah, because I have just a sliver less exposure to RJ Harvey overall versus Henderson, but I have the same exposure to them as the other players. They was literally matching every other player on my team. So I like this. I'm cool with this start.
All right, number 4. We have a little side quest after we talk about number 4, because I think he might be on your list as well. Maybe a different album, but I'm going with Lil Wayne. Carter 2 is my Lil Wayne album. The Real Answer. Again, shout out to my friend Keith. But the Drought 3 is the real answer. But that's a mixtape, so it doesn't count.
So you're 100% spot on. I will say I chose the Carter 3 as my Lil Wayne album. It is, of course, on my list. Lil Wayne is my my LeBron James, my Michael Jordan, my whatever of artists. I will say I did do some of that. Like a little, I'm actually not sure that Lil Wayne has one of the best 5 albums of all time. Because of exactly what you said. I think Lil Wayne is the greatest mixtape artist probably of all time. The mixtape run he went on from the late 90s to like 2010 is like the sickest shit you've ever seen. And then all of the features he did on other people's songs, or like, you know, like the Young Money shit that they would all do together, right? He didn't care so much about like, I want to have my album and that's going to be all my best songs. He just made a bunch of awesome music. I'm sure he made an absolute fuckload of money on all of those, you know, spots he did for other people. So, but I made a rule. There's one other guy that I made a rule that they were my favorite artists growing up, that were like, again, really sentimental to me, and not even just sentimental. I mean, I think Lil Wayne is probably the greatest rapper of all time. And so I was just like, I'm putting an album on here. I chose the Carter 3 over the Carter 2 after I went back and listened. My initial gut was Carter 2. I wrote it down.
Mine's the reverse. My initial gut was Carter 3.
I wrote it down and I said, I think Carter 2 is probably the best album. And then I'm like, Bob, let's do that. Right. I got a week. I can go back and listen to that. I went back and I listened to both of them. I'm like, I think I like the Carter 3. I think I like the Carter 3 better. So I chose Carter 3 for Lil Wayne.
Yeah, mine's Carter 2. B. Kurt did send us a message and ask us if we were doing Lil Wayne to rank our top 5 Lil Wayne albums as a side quest.
So the problem is exactly what you just said. The Drought 3 is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like a true masterpiece. But it's a mixtape album. So
yeah,
like
I cheated for this one.
Yeah. So where do all the mixtape stuff fall? Like,
yeah. So for this, I cheated. I did Drought 3, Carter 2, Carter 3. I did Hot Boys Guerrilla Warfare because he's part of the Hot Boys. And I did The Block is Hot as my 5th album for Lil Wayne.
The Block is Hot was when you were like, oh, this guy, like, so, that to me was like, I was like, oh shit, this guy's like for real.
So my Lil Wayne experience is probably a little bit different because of where I grew up. Like, so I grew up about an hour away from New Orleans. So we were listening
I didn't know that.
I was born up here. I moved to Mississippi when I was 8 years old and moved back to Mass when I was 15. But we were getting Cash Money records before they made it big. And we were getting like Hot Boys records and stuff like that. So like I loved Juvenile. I loved Turk.
I loved Juvenile.
Yeah. And I loved Lil Wayne. So like I was really big up on them. You're on the clock here. You got to take downs. I don't know how you don't take downs.
Why? All this? No, I'm taking Ibuka.
Ibuka's good too.
All this downs conversation earlier today in the Discord, by the way.
I didn't see it.
Oh my god, it got me triggered in a good way. It was really actually a fun conversation, kind of about it started with Tyler Warren ironically, conversation. It turned into a Josh Downs conversation, and then it turned into a Daniel Jones conversation, which is kind of what happens in the Spike Week Discord. But if Downs comes back here, I'll probably just take him too. But I am a little bit like concerned about Josh Downs in half PPR specifically, and of course, naturally, he goes. God, I have so much. The problem is, I like all these numbers are like I don't have that much like Genty and stuff and McLaurin. So these numbers look astronomical, but it's really not that bad.
Right.
So
which makes it fun to draft these guys because that means you're getting them on a.
I'm cool with Pollard. There's a fly on my computer screen.
Caroline is asking us if we remember the squad updates, and I do. That was like right after the initial group of Cash Money kind of broke up, as I recall, which was fine. They were
Shout out to Joe King talking about his touch tunes. That's hilarious.
All right. So did you have more Lil Wayne albums you wanted to shout out for B Kurt?
No. I the only thing I was literally going to mention was that, I mean, outside of Drought 3, I don't really have a favorite mixtape. I have a bunch of favorite mixtape songs that he did, but like the Drought 3 is like hands down my favorite actual album of all time. I still listen to. I have every single Drought 3 song on that mega playlist that we talked about. The Upgrade You song, so he turned a Beyonce love song into the hardest hip hop song, and I still don't know how he did it. It was insane. Like, it's one thing to turn, right? Like, he's good about taking other good hip hop songs and doing his mixtape shit over the top of him. But he turned this Beyonce song, like, I'm like, still, if that comes on, like, I get hyped up, and I'm like, wait, it's Beyonce talking about like upgrading her man, and Lil Wayne is talking about like, and I'm like ready to go fucking fight somebody afterwards. Like, it's crazy. The dude was that, but he was at his peak. Like Drought 3 era was like the peak.
Yeah. I told the story on the last show about how we almost ran him over in Miami, I think, right?
Yep.
So there's my Lil Wayne story. So we both had Nelly. We had different versions of the Carter for Lil Wayne.
Yep.
My number 3, I'm not going to be shocked if you do have one of his albums on there. I'm going to go Eminem Marshall Mathers LP for this one. The Way I Am, Stan. The Way I Am is my favorite Eminem song of all time. Stan, I mean, obviously overplayed, but like a phenomenal song. Drug Ballad, Bitch Please Do. It goes on and on and on. I think that the Marshall Mathers LP is the best of the Eminem albums.
So Eminem was my second artist that had to be on the list because he was, like my co-favorite. I was in Lil Wayne and Eminem guy. It was like if they came out with something, it was we were on. I can't remember. Do you remember what? I know I'm about to be on the clock, so I'm gonna ramble a little bit about this before we go on. There was a day, I can't remember which it was, that like the mixtape sites or the hip hop sites would share the new mixtapes that would, and then you would like, whether it was LimeWire, right, or all the different downloading technologies that we used to see. This is why I really hate taking the elite quarterback, is we get to this range and I'm like, it's just a bunch of fucking quarterbacks that I want to take. I'm gonna do a little Sharps action here. He's been a guy that I like, straight up like Charbonnet, and I just don't have like every time he comes up on my screen, like, why is that exposure so low for that guy?
Yeah, drafting QBs.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you see, I keep taking a lot of these QBs, and then even when I get to this range, I'm hoping that I can take a QB. Let's do the Tyler Warren thing. I don't have a tight end. We were talking about that. I passed on Downs. Let's do that. But what? There was like a day. It was like Thursdays or Tuesday. I can't remember. But like the new mixtapes would come out, and we would rush to get it. And it was like if Wayne or Eminem were on fucking any, and it wasn't just mixtapes. They would release songs like, they would come out in 3 months, and we would get them early. And I can't remember when it was, but there was an era where I was just like, if Eminem did anything, and it would be trash. Like some of them would be just total trash, but I was like, gotta have it, gotta. And then you put this right, you put your blank CD that you got from Walmart or whatever in, and you burn the disc onto to take it in the car. Those are the days.
Absolutely phenomenal. So Marshall Mathers LP was mine. Did you say which one's yours?
I'm pretty sure I did Eminem show. Hold on. Yeah, I did Eminem show. Marshall Mathers LP were my top two. The sentimental one though that I really really liked, and it is a really good listen. If you liked Eminem, Recovery, is awesome. But it's like, so this is when he realized he was a drug addict, right? This is when he realized his life had gone to shit. So there's Cinderella Man and like a lot of that. There's a lot of the stuff about like him kind of, it's a different Eminem. So if you like the, old school fuck around Eminem, there's a couple songs on there where he's still doing that, but he's mostly like talking about the difficulty that he's dealt with in his life and like overcoming his problems on Recovery. But it's fucking fire. The whole album is, but nothing stands up to Marshall Mathers. Eminem show, I did the same thing that we talked about with the Carters. I went back and listened, and I just think Eminem show had a little bit higher volume of songs that hold their weight for me. But I think Marshall Mathers LP was what made him the most famous. It was like after that you were like, holy shit, this dude is unreal.
Because Slim Shady LP put him on the map, and then
but it's Marshall just like Mathers, okay. Slim Shady LP is like, it's good, but it doesn't sniff the other two to me.
No, it has some really good songs on it. Marshall Mathers LP show that he was there. Eminem show, I would say maybe the Eminem show has a few more songs that I would listen to, like more songs on the album that I like.
Yeah,
but the
not
way
as
I
monumental, not as like the real Slim Shady or whatever. Yeah, like
the way I am is just like that is the Eminem song for me.
Yeah.
So like so that kind of like broke some ties occasionally. Like if it was like with the Nelly one, EI's on Country Grammar. Yeah,
you picked your favorite song that was on that out, right?
Yeah.
It's like
if it was close.
I thought about this when we were doing this exercise. It was like the do you give the most valuable player award to the actually most, like, do you just give it to LeBron every year, or do you like every once in a while give it to the best player on the best team? It's like, I think Nikola Jokic is the MVP, but SGA was awesome and the best player on the team, on the best team in the NBA. So like sometimes SGA deserves the award. You know what I mean? What's kind of how I thought about it. I have Brian Thomas, right?
Yeah. M took two QBs last time. I was just trying to help you out there.
I'm not that worried. I'm more worried about the music. favorite Eminem song, kind of like we were talking about with T.I., that's like not the most popular, maybe from one of your favorite albums that's like a little more obscure.
Oh, so my favorite Eminem song that's mixtape is what I'll go with.
Oh, okay.
It
doesn't have to be mixtape.
No, well, it was because I loved it, and I think it's harder to find. It was a diss track. I forget what it was called, but it went like, I don't want to be like this. I don't really want to hurt no feelings.
Oh my God. What song is that?
But I mean it when I say nobody wants to hear the grandfather rap.
Yeah. Nail in the Coffin. Yes.
Nail in the Coffin. Nail in the Coffin was great.
Dude, it's so similar to me. It's not the same, wildly different subjects. I think still to this day, like one of my sneaky favorite Eminem songs, maybe honestly my favorite Eminem song is My Dad Gone Crazy, where he brings Haley onto the song, and like it's so inappropriate that it's like like you can't listen to that certainly not in front of children. You can't listen to that in front of your parents. You could, like, that was one, like, if my mom walked in the room and I had that song on, she's like, you're losing fucking everything for like a week. She's like, that is disgusting. Like that, I can't believe that you're listening to that. So that one, oh my gosh. But that was Eminem, right? That was like, we were dumb young kids and he's saying the most vile, like truly vile shit ever. And his daughter is on the song. It's talking about his daughter saying that he has lost his mind, and then he's losing his mind in the lyrics. So and I think that was on the Eminem show.
All right. So do we get to our number two now? Well, my number two.
Yeah, go for number two.
We've been pretty lockstep, and I think we're
pretty close. I can't believe, I was a little surprised. I wasn't sure if we would be so in lockstep.
All right, so I think we're going to be in lockstep on this one too. This was my number one for 2 weeks until I thought about it a bit more earlier today, and I'm going to bump it down to number 2, and I'll explain why when I get to my number 1. But 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. I don't know how many albums you put on and just press play, and as soon as that coin drops on the counter,
Oh,
it's paced so well throughout too, because you just get hype right away, where it's just like, what up, blood? What up, gangsta? And it just like it
yes.
hits so hard. Patiently waiting, PIMP in the club. You can go on and on and on and on and on and on. But this was one of the few albums that I've ever been able to put on, press play, and just listen to. Many Men, like, dude, this album, Wangsta was on this album. This album just fucking kicked ass. Is what I will say.
I'm with you. This is on my list. I've agonized over doing the sentimental. So as you said, Lil Wayne had to have one for me. Eminem had to have one for me. There's another, we'll get to it, that just it had to be for me. And so I agonized over, do I do the Nelly thing? Do I do Get Rich or Die Trying? Or do I do Dr. Dre 2001?
Yeah.
Because that is right up there. But I went back and I did this shit that we're talking about here as I am on the clock, and there's not a wide receiver in sight to draft, which is why you don't do what I did in this draft. Oh no. I'm taking 2 Jaguars running backs, and we're going to be done at running back.
You have 4 wide receivers. We are in trouble here.
This is why you don't debate your favorite hip hop albums of all time while you draft the best Romanian team. Yeah, because Jack Besh is going to be your wide receiver 5. No, we're gonna. I think I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, I like Gesicki. Now I can just hammer wide receivers, which is going to make it a whole lot easier for me the rest of the way. I chose the sentimental factor with Nelly. I still sort of regret it to this point because it made me put Get Rich or Die Trying and leave out Dr. Dre. And Dr. Dre 2001 is just like, I mean, but I don't think the whole album, like, that's what Get Rich or Die Trying is like you said, put it in, don't touch a thing, listen to it from start to finish, and you love every second of it. Dr. Dre 2001 is very good, and there are some all-timers, like several all-timers on that album. But not every song is like there's skips. There's potential skips.
Yeah. I Dr. Dre, The Chronic as well, the original one, I'm sure is on a lot of people's list for sure. 2001. I think I'm with you on that one, where there's some absolute bangers on that album, like hardcore bangers on that album, but I couldn't get it into mine. So I guess that's an honorable mention as well. I have some more honorable mentions for later. When we started talking, Verse here wants to know when Erik became an RB bro. That's when we started talking about hip hop, and our mistake in this draft is I talked him into taking Jinty in a room that is all family and friends. So Jinty is what actually messed up this team, and I apologize to Erik for that.
100%. It was totally your fault. This team would have been fucking awesome if I just took Ladd or AJ Brown like I would always take, and you were like, you got to take Jinty, don't you? And I was like, sure, whatever. I don't care. Let's talk about Nelly. And
no one said Erik drafted like it's the year these albums came out.
That is phenomenal. That is a phenomenal comment.
All right. Do you want to do your last one next, or do you want me to go?
I'll go. I'll go. Okay. Kanye College Dropout is my last album. Kanye Graduation is also really, really fucking good, but as psychopathic as Kanye West has become, it would be, I think, for me, it would be disingenuous to not include, like, early Kanye was like on the level of those guys. And I did the same thing where I was like, those are 2 of my favorite albums of all time for sure, Graduation and College Dropout. And I was like, it might be Graduation. So I went back and listened to both of them, and I was just like, College Dropout is pretty much a no skip album. Like, and I went back and I was like, I think I love some of these songs even more than I thought. that I did. And he's got like he's got Wayne on there. He's got like Talib Kweli, obviously Jay-Z's on there. Like he like man, like College Dropout Kanye was like, I mean, he was like and it was like so different than other hip hop albums, what he was doing at that time. He just like changed music for me, kind of like Lil Wayne and these other guys did. So I had to include College Dropout.
Yeah, he had to grow on me a little bit. He wasn't up there for me when he first came out. Obviously, he's a psychopath now,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't get there with him because I do like some of those earlier albums, but to me, he's just. I've come to appreciate his earlier work more now than I did then. I'm sort of like that with Jay-Z too, where like I liked Jay-Z, but now I listen to him more probably now than I did then, which is weird to say.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it with Kanye. I'm not gonna fight
Money
back on
Ain't
it.
a Thing was the song with Jermaine Dupri on oh my god, what album was that? That's gonna piss me off now.
Wasn't it on a soundtrack?
No, it was in
Feels like Bad Boys, but I might be wrong.
Rush Hour. It was on his own album too, but also notably, We've Come Full Circle. Ja Rule is on that song. But it was that album that I got really into to Jay-Z, and Money Ain't a Thing with Jermaine Dupri is still a straight banger that I'll listen to.
Yeah. Welcome to Atlanta remix though is
oh my god, Welcome to Atlanta is definitely Joe King mentioned College Dropout. It's got tier, dude. Welcome to Atlanta, and we haven't even talked about this. We're talking most of these guys and a lot of this music was the remix generation.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? When did we not just like any song that was even like half-ass good got a remix, and every good hip hop artist came onto the remix, right? You got DJ Khaled fucking yelling "We the best" in the background, and Lil Wayne drops a verse, and Jeezy drops a verse, and probably fucking R. Kelly drops a verse, right? Like it was nonsense. It was like, but it was just every song got the remix.
Sometimes only the remix came out. Do you even remember the original version of Ignition? I only remember the remix to Ignition.
No. the most famous thing about R. Kelly is him going, "This is the remix to Ignition," and we were like, "When was the original Ignition?
When did that come out?"
I'm trapped in the closet. Like that R. Kelly era was. He did make some, obviously not hip hop. And certainly if we're talking about bad people, he's up there. But yeah, the remix to Ignition is so funny. It's like one of the most famous lines in like our era of music. And it was like, but I don't know the original. How is this the remix?
When did this come out? Please tell me. We had the remix era, but we also had the chopped and screwed era, which I was never a chopped and screwed fan.
No.
Like, let's not do that. And we also had DJs yelling their names over verses way too often as well.
You know what else I thought about while we were doing this is, the whole world is just very adversarial nowadays, and our world is not immune to that in the basketball space and fantasy space. We should have the before you record a video or something, like how hip hop artists had like the DJ like Mustard on the beat, or like, DJ Khaled, or right Convict music with Akon, and like everybody should have their own thing. Remember Jim Jones and a Dipset?
Yeah.
We should everybody should have their like Ship Chasing has a thing. When they come on, there's like overs that just going in the background, right? Whatever whatever their thing is, and like everybody should have their like Dipset to their content.
All right, we need a fire wide receiver here.
I know. This is fucking just so terrible.
You gotta take Iowa Manor, bro.
Yeah, I have to swing for a lot of upside because this wide receiver room sucks ass. Lockett goes. Well, I just saw Malik, but I want to do Royals. Woof.
Great team.
Congratulations, guys. You're playing against 10. You're playing against 10 in this one. I'm not even reviewing this. I'm not reviewing this.
All right. I'll say my number one. My number one, based on everything else we've said, might surprise people. It's 2014 Forest Hills by J. Cole.
I
I think this
love it.
is my number
I
one.
love J. Cole.
J. Cole is, I think, my favorite rapper, which is weird to say because I think he's our age, but I feel like he came out a little after the run of hip hop when we were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little late in that aspect, but once I started listening to J. Cole, I'm like, I think this dude's just my favorite rapper of all time. Um, and I think 2014 Forest Hills is just a phenomenal album. If you don't, if you're like us, like, because I don't listen to a lot of new hip hop at all, practically zero.
None.
There was a really bad era from like 2016 to 2021. Whenever I heard it, I was like, I was the guy from the meme pulling off his headphones, like, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
So if you stopped listening to hip hop before the J. Cole era, I would suggest listening to two J. Cole albums. I mean, I think they're all great, but 2014 Forest Hills Drive is, I think, his best album. Wet Dreams, A Tale of Two Cities, Saint Tropez, GOMD, No Role Models, apparently. Just absolutely a fire album that you can press play on and just listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 13 tracks, I think. But dude, it's so good. He doesn't have like any, like, I would say, club songs on that album. That's not like a club song album
He's
for
not a big
him.
club. That's not really his vibe.
No, but he did it early, like the other one, Cold World, that came out,
Mm-hmm.
where he had Mr. Nice Watch with Jay-Z, which is a fire song. He's had like some club hits before, but this song is just like a really good hip hop album. It's grounded. It's just telling stories that he wants to tell in it. Wet Dreams is such a different song than you've ever heard on any hip hop track before. It's about him growing up and like the first time that he's finally hooking up with his girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not told in a way to make him like so awesome. It's told in a way that you can absolutely relate to.
Yep.
And you're like, oh shit, I remember that time of my life, like being worried about this when you're like, just so like his storytelling in songs is just absolutely phenomenal. So for me, I think it's going to end up being my favorite hip hop album for the rest of my life at this point. And I was like, I know it's going to be eventually. So should I put 50 at 1? And I'm like, you know what? I went out and bought the damn record for this album. Like,
I love that.
Clearly that is my favorite hip hop album. I think it's the absolute best hip hop album of all time. I know it doesn't rank as high. I know there's other stuff like Nas's Illmatic gets thrown up there all the time. We didn't even talk about Wu-Tang and the 36 Chambers, like, which is a great album.
I put those on the honorable mention, but yeah.
All Eyes on Me. If you like Biggie can be on there too.
Life After Death.
Yeah.
Yep.
But give me J. Cole. He's my favorite rapper. I like him a million times. I don't even dislike Kendrick Lamar. I'm not saying that. But give me J. Cole over Kendrick Lamar and
Crooked
pretty
Smile. Hack says, yeah. I love that you said that because I put a bunch of shit on my honorable mention that is similar, and maybe some of my favorite albums of all time that didn't make kind of our top 5 list or whatever that are very similar. So I think somebody even said it in the chat earlier, but Kid Cudi, Man on the Moon speaks to me similarly to like what you're talking about with J. Cole, where he's storytelling about real shit that is happening in his life. And like, this dude is like one of the best rappers on the planet and rich and successful. And his whole album is him telling about all the things that he's gone through in his life.
Yep.
And so, occasionally it's silly, but there's a lot of real life stuff, like addiction and, family members and friends dying and all that kind of stuff. And like, that happens in hip hop because unfortunately a lot of the artists that we listen to have come from tough backgrounds and they've dealt with death and sadness and stuff. But it's usually kind of portrayed in a different way than like a J. Cole does and like a Kid Cudi did. And I love those. it's not so mainstream, and like you can't like turn it on at a party. You know,
Right,
you can't
right.
you can't necessarily. I mean, you can turn on a lot of J. Cole songs at a party. Don't get me wrong. And I listen to J. Cole songs while I'm working out and stuff because he has all he can hit every area of music, and so can Kid Cudi. But in general, like Pursuit of Happiness, right, for Kid Cudi is like a really sad song. Like he's like, this dude is telling about all of his problems and his pursuit of happiness when he's not happy, and talking about suicide and stuff. And I really respect those guys for that. And I love that. I love that music because it gives you something to relate, right? Like it's really hard to relate to, like, you know, Lil Wayne after a certain point where he's talking about like how much money he has and fucking getting fucked up on syrup and going to prison. You know, it's like, you know, over something stupid. Like it's hard to relate to that stuff. So it's really, really cool when you get these incredible lyricists who can tell that story in a way that's also really good music.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have the question, was there any other genres we considered? And we weren't going to do another one on the show, but I did my top 5 bands in Discord, and I can give that list real quick if you want.
Go for it. And
So
then I'm gonna fire up another BBM for the folks.
Okay.
And another 20-second because they go really quickly. I'm hopping into it right now. I'll share my screen, and I'll try to do better on this, but we can just keep riffing while I do that.
Yeah. So my list, I'm just trying to pull it up. I remember it mostly, but I did my favorite 5 bands, and I did my favorite album from that band. And my number 1 is Pink Floyd, The Wall. Number 2 is Queen, Night at the Opera. 3 is Pearl Jam 10. 4 is Blink 182, Enema of the State, although their self-titled album is really good.
Yep.
And 5 is Fall Out Boy, From Under the Cork Tree. And Take This to Your Grave is also very close for them. So sort of mixed bag of my favorite bands. Bands are tough because there's so many different genres of like rock music, but I kind of wanted to mix that up.
It's easier to do hip hop because it's kind of all close enough to that's great. South says RB bro in the 3 hole. I am for the audio folks, I am picking in the 3 hole, and I'm notably now a running back bro. South is in the 2 hole. Why are these hosts forcing fantasy football talk into this music stream? says Joe. Yeah, that's kind of the goal. We're just straight vibing on the Monday show. We're gonna whatever. We're gonna talk about whatever. And if it makes good content, great. If it makes shitty content, I don't care. I really don't care. The rock stuff is more difficult for me. I'm taking CD now because I'm not getting fucking backed into this running back bullshit again.
You should take GP at the 3 and flip the board.
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for Rob to be like, what do you think about Derrick Henry here? And I would have been like, well, in this room, he's probably going to come back to me in the second. You asshole. Yeah, I don't know where it's going. Oh, I'm not. Honestly, I'm as you could probably tell with a Darius Miles basketball jersey and the fact that I wear a backwards hat every day, and I'm mostly a hip hop and R&B kind of guy. Though I have plenty of like rock songs and the occasional country song and stuff that I like. But I probably couldn't do the other genres of like. I just don't listen to much of it.
So I got to. God, maybe 15 years
I do
ago
like
now.
Linkin. I did really like Linkin Park.
Linkin
Park dude, the Linkin Park Jay-Z mashup album is like was like truly incredible. Like,
yeah,
it was awesome.
Speaking of remixes, that encore remix on that album was phenomenal.
So good.
I got to go see Roger Waters from Pink Floyd do the entire album, The Wall, in concert, and that was the most incredible concert I've ever gone to in my life.
That's awesome.
He just the way so you walk in, and as everyone's taking their seats, you look down, and by the stage there's just like a homeless guy pushing a shopping cart, and you're like, what the hell is this? It's actually Roger Waters that's pushing the cart, and when the show starts, he gets up on stage from walking around pushing the shopping cart around, and then just like the whole show they're building a wall, and the wall is like all these screens, So like it's like a show within a show. It was just phenomenal to
That's
see
awesome.
that. I'm so glad I got to experience that, especially after like I wasn't a huge like I'm not big into like death metal, but I like some Black Sabbath stuff.
Hmm.
So I'm glad I got to see Roger Waters, especially after seeing the final Ozzy performance this
Oh yeah,
past weekend. So just one of those things that I'm very happy I get to go see.
yeah. That is I never really got into the concert scene. It was not. I don't really. I don't
I'm
really
not
have
a huge
a.
concert guy either.
I'm not. I'm not a big. I'm not a big concert guy. I don't even really have a reason for that. My wife likes it. My mom and sister and stuff like it. I just would never my thing. Really.
I have issues with crowds sometimes, so
Yeah, me too.
usually not my thing.
That's why I sit in my basement and talk about fantasy football for a living.
Back on the clock here.
We're not. Is this meteoric rise of Tyreek Hill is so funny. I'm taking Trey McBride. I
We
get
knew
it.
it was coming. We knew it was coming.
But it's so funny to just be like, did you really need Jonnu to get traded to now care about Tyreek Hill? Like, I understand like your spreadsheet makes you feel better now that Jonnu's gone, right? But now you also like Darren. All you did was give Jonnu's targets to Darren Waller. Why do you like Tyreek Hill better now? It's like you should have liked him. But I think what happens, like the one serious thing I'll probably say about best ball here is sometimes news like triggers people to be like, I think I was just too low on him to begin with, right? And we can explain it away. How about this works? A lot of people do McBride T, with Chase. I'll do it with CD, a little bit different. People will use it, and it happens to me sometimes too, where I'm like, oh, that news thing happened, and I'm like, oh shit, I think I was probably just too low on that guy to begin with. And I think honestly, that's what happened with Tyreek. Was people were just like, why are we letting Tyreek Hill fall to like pick 34? It's like at that point, all the risk is baked in. Now we're starting to get into the point where like if he's going to be going ahead of like Brock Bowers, it's like, have we jumped the shark now? No pun intended.
FF Dune wants me to rank my Floyd albums. So it's The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, very boring, but I think it's just correct. I mean, I could see people flipping those two, but those are the best two. And then I'd have to really think about it. Probably Wish You Were Here is 3, and maybe Division Bell 4, and then it gets murky for me after that, is what I would say.
Okay. I'm so into this R&B songs or R&B artists.
We could do an R&B artist one.
Trenny asked Hack is what kind of R&B artist you listen to. And first of all, this is gonna sound like I'm joking. I'm not. First of all, Blackstreet No Diggity is the best R&B song in the history of. It's also like half hip hop, half right. The Dre's on there and stuff. It also not our generation, the generation after us. Learned about how good this song was through Pitch Perfect, the movie, the Anna Kendrick and acapella. Yeah, Anna Kendrick does it acapella. Like it was like a big moment in the movie. Which, by the way, Pitch Perfect is, I fucking love Pitch Perfect. It's an awesome movie. But Blackstreet No Diggity is like first on my Mount Rushmore of R&B songs for sure. And Blackstreet is awesome. He mentioned Cisco Thong Song, which is really funny. But Cisco Thong Song, I don't like took the like changed like it. This was the TRL generation, and the Thong Song like changed the world because it was like, is he talking about women? And now that's like, no, who gives a shit? Back then it was like, what? The whole video has a bunch of women in thongs, and us perverted 13-year-olds or whatever are like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. The song's terrible, but this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. You want to know what's an awesome song that he did on that? And this was the title of the album that the Thong Song was on. Unleash the Dragon.
Yep.
By Cisco is a straight up good song.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed Cisco. He was the Dennis Rodman of R&B artists back then, always changing his hair. And he also 112 might be my favorite R&B group. But No Diggity is my favorite R&B song.
I'd have to think about it. Genuine would be up there for me on my R&B.
Did you watch
list.
Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
The show Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Genuine? He's genuine. Like you can't keep saying his name, but he's genuine. Like when Aziz is trying to explain to Anne who Genuine is, and he just keeps going, Genuine, Pony, Genuine. He's genuine, and she's just like, yeah, I don't get it. Oh man, that's so good.
See, I know Pony's the big song.
Differences.
Differences is good. So Anxious is my Genuine song.
Oh, that's a good one.
So Anxious, I think, is one of the that is just my jam for Genuine.
I think Differences is it for me, but Pony's great, but I don't know. Pony's more of like you'd like to have about 8 drinks in you in the club and on the dance floor with a girl when Pony comes on, and it's you'll know how your night's gonna go at that point, I think.
God, who did Roth sing at the karaoke night?
It wasn't Genuine. Damn it. Really wanted Devontae Smith there. That would have been fucking awesome. Okay. DJ Moore. Oh, Jesus.
Get that Jalen Waddle exposure up, bro. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, I don't really like Jalen Waddle. That's what we're doing.
You should like him because he's Jalen Waddle and he has the best touchdown celebration.
He's genuine.
He's genuine. He's Jalen Waddle.
Get that exposure. He's genuine.
He's Jalen Waddle.
That's good. I'm using that the rest of the summer now. It's like, why do you only have 5% of him? He's genuine. Oh man.
Oh man, so good. Soph is asking if there's Weird Al fans out there. Weird Al's on my playlist a little bit. I have some Weird Al songs.
I never got it. I mean, I get it. I never got into it really, but I understand it. There was some entertaining stuff on there. The what was the Coolio song that he did?
Amish Paradise.
Amish Paradise was pretty funny. That was probably my favorite song.
Some of his Michael Jackson stuff was good.
Casey and JoJo says RGT. Casey and JoJo is definitely, the middle school dance scene was straight Casey and JoJo. All my life.
When you were in middle school, I don't know if this was just my school down south, but when you wrote messages to girls or they wrote you, did you put like song, artist, time where they wrote it? Like it was like a full,
no.
Oh no. So every time you wrote a letter to like your girlfriend and would pass it in the hallway, we would write like English class, song, Casey and JoJo, all my life, and then you'd write a few more things, and then it would be your note, and then you'd pass it in the hallway.
That's amazing. I love it.
So you'd always have to pick a song to put on whatever note you're passing to.
I wish we did that now. I'd like
whatever
to go
girl you were too scared to kiss when you were actually.
Now, when I get the question of like, what would you do if you had a time machine? I would go back. So when we gave notes when we were younger, I could put my songs on there. So we could do this, but I could rectify my mistakes of when I was 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
Of which there were many.
I mean, how many times when you were 12 did you draft Ashton Jeanty in the second round?
Yeah, never.
He probably wasn't born yet.
Let's see. No, he wasn't. Nope. Just some quick, rough math. Nope, not even close, actually. Oh, see, this is why you don't take fucking Genty at the 1-2 turn, because Travion Henderson falls back to you at pick 70. Unbelievable. Now I can double dip running. I can double dip running back right here, and we're good. And I have 4 wide receivers, including Genuine and Trey McBride on the team.
He's genuine.
That's one of my favorite. Dude, Parks and Rec is on the is on our like rewatch list. There's what's on your, I know where you're talking about music, but this is a fitting segue. You're like, do you have a rewatch like TV show or movie list where you're like going to bed and we're like, like Alyssa and I'll be like, we don't want to watch anything that you have to pay attention to. You're like, because we're gonna fall asleep. Like Office, Parks and Rec, New Girl. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Modern Family, like the stupid sitcom comedies.
Modern Family is fun, yeah.
We'll like rewatch those because it's so like, it's funny. They're still really funny, even like the 50th time. What do you have on that list?
So the one that I want to go back and rewatch that I haven't watched in a while is the comedy that I think is the best. Like, so first hot take, I think Parks and Rec is better than The Office, and I do like The Office quite a bit. But I think
I like
Parks and Rec
is better than The Office too.
I agree. I think Arrested Development is the best comedy of all time, like comedy show. Arrested Development is amazing.
It's so good.
And that is rewatchable because you will catch stuff in the background of that show that you might not have caught the first time. And it's like, oh my God, this show is so genius. It was so ahead of its time.
Yep.
I think that Arrested Development might be the best comedy.
My wife just doesn't like it, so that's the problem. And once you get married, unfortunately, the pre-sleep shows get restricted to what you both like.
Oh
so,
man,
yeah, but she loves Parks and Rec, so
I'm
cool with that.
Really great things in Arrested Development that have made it over to big blockbuster movies that you wouldn't even know. The staircase car. Did you know
Wait,
that?
Hold on. No.
So do you know this? So do you remember the staircase car? Oh,
what movie? Yeah. What movie?
How about Captain America: Civil War?
Oh shit! Yes,
because it's the directors who directed that used to direct on Arrested Development. So if you look in the background, you can see the Arrested Development staircase car at the airport.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that.
Now. Yeah. So like
Civil War, the airport fight.
Yeah.
Airport fight. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like it's a blink and you'll miss it, but it's a little Easter egg, sort of like Sam Raimi. This is going off on a tangent, but Sam Raimi, he directed the original Evil Dead movie, and he obviously directed Spider-Man and everything like that. So in the original Evil Dead, he used his car for the scene that they pull up to the cabin. And that car has been in every single movie he's ever done in some form or fashion.
That's awesome.
To the point that when he did The Quick and the Dead, which was a Western, he converted it into part of one of the wagons. And then when he did The Wizard of Oz, I believe it's a bunch of trinkets up on the shelf is from his car. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, and it's obviously the car that Uncle Ben drove in Spider-Man as well. So
I'm gonna do a little Kyler action here with McBride and T on the. Here we go. This is working. See, we were too deep in the like J. Cole, Kid Cudi talk, and we got into Genty and a lot of fucking running backs. And let's just ignore the first one. There was more people watching at that time, so we're gonna lose subscribers from the first draft. I'm much happier about how this one's going.
Yeah, Dorito says the first 3 seasons of Arrested Development has so many jokes, and it does.
It also has a lot of memes that have lived on into just forever. Like
the chicken stuff from that show makes me almost cry laugh every time.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
Anyone in this family ever seen a chicken?
It was okay. I mean, you just take B-Rob here on like what is this, a Hawkeye team? Yeah, a little Hawkeye running back team. B-Rob at pick 100. That works. Yeah, I did. So I didn't get into Arrested Development when it was originally airing. I don't have an explanation as to why. It's definitely my vibe of a show, and I enjoy it. But I just never really got into it originally. And then one of my buddies was like, because we would all watch the same shows. Somebody mentioned South Park and Always Sunny and Entourage and all the bullshit, all the same shows that were all popular during that time. And I just never watched Arrested Development. He's like, dude, you'll love this. And ever since then I was like, yeah. But again, it's one of those that's just kind of like a little bit out of sight, out of mind for me now, because it's not on our. I told you we have a rewatch list. It's a short list of like 6 or so shows, and then once we finish The Office for the 10th time. Okay, now we do Parks and Rec again. Let's say, okay, now we do New Girl again. Okay, and we work our way down the list. I do. When it's like storming or something, I have to sleep in the basement with the dogs.
Yeah, and
that's when I'll rewatch like Always Sunny. So now I'm gonna have to. And I haven't even thought to put Arrested Development on my you're banished to the couch time. Well, it'll have to be the Arrested Development time.
I'm due for another Arrested Development rewatch. Do you have a favorite South Park episode?
Oh, it's been so long. I haven't watched South Park in a long time. I watched it like crazy when I was younger. But honestly, the no, I would have to think about this. We might have to talk about this next week, and I'll have to look it up, or like do a rewatch of as many episodes as I can in a week.
So me and Jesse had an apartment together for a couple years, and I don't know if we were drunk. I don't remember what the case was, but do you remember the Aspen episode of South Park where they all go to ski in Aspen? They're trying to sell the parents timeshare, and while the parents are stuck in these meetings, the kids are. Oh my god, it is. I cry laugh still watching that episode. They do like a whole Pet Cemetery like parody where they have the guy come out and say, "You don't want to go up that roads," and he just like does the whole voice the whole time, like the main voice. And it just killed me. I don't know why. That's my episode. Rewatch that one. That one was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back through. Also, somebody else also mentioned Family Guy. We're using this show to get my Sharps exposure up, apparently. Somebody also mentioned Family Guy's on the like South Park tier of the comedy cartoons that I really, really loved. When I was in college, my freshman year, we bought all the DVDs of all. This was, back then, like you could go to like Blockbuster would have the like sales of all the DVDs that like, they were ready to get rid of, that probably like they were worth a fucking nickel and you still spent $20 on them or whatever because they've been watched 1,000 times by the people who rented them from Blockbuster. We went and bought all the Family Guy DVDs. So still to this day, the piece of candy is like lives, it owns so much real estate in my brain that like I'll never be able to let it go.
RGT brings up a good South Park episode. Good Times with Weapons is fun. The Maureen Ponderosa Wedding Massacre is a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's so many good ones. I don't remember the name of the episode, but the chili con carne episode. Great episode.
I was just, you want to know one of my favorite, the like cry laughing thing you were just talking about? It's actually a later season. I don't remember which episode it is, but on Always Sunny, which is definitely on my like god tier of TV shows. The scene where Charlie doesn't understand the difference between a city and a state.
Yeah.
And it's like, so like we're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. What is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? And they're like, what's, it's a different. He's like, so like that's a different state. And like, no, that Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's like, so am I going in and out of Pittsburgh every day, or yes or no? And they're like, no, they're different cities. And he's like, but how can that be? 2 cities in 1 state. How does that make any sense? And they're like, all states have more than 1 city. And he's like, cannot figure out how there's, and the delivery is like, every time I watch it still, and I've seen it 100 times, like it gets me every single time. Take a performance enhancer before you watch that episode of Always Sunny, and holy shit, man, it is like, those guys are legends. They know how to make the dumbest shit funny, but also then they can take like a serious issue, right, and turn it into a whole episode. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be inappropriate, but like, they'll do an abortion episode, or like a women's rights episode, or right, or whatever, and like, but they turn it into something it's actually ends up not being related to the issue. It's like the episode started with that, and they turn it into something else, and it's just like, those guys are absolutely incredible, and they're very successful because of it.
It cracks me up because I listen to the 3 of them talk like.
Is it this one? The gang replaces which is also hilarious because the monkey is serving them beer. They hired a monkey actor to be a bartender at the bar, and like, it's believable. You believe it. It makes no goddamn sense. There's a monkey serving these guys beer, and it's believable. It's crazy.
My favorite scene from that entire show, that just, I don't know why it hit me right when I watched it the first time, I don't even remember what they're doing. I think they're trying to sell oil or something like that, and Charlie's dressed up as
The
like a
gasoline.
Texan. Yeah, and
With the oh, go ahead. Sorry.
when they're in the truck and like they're trying to stop the truck, and he's like the brake won't start. He's like, I've cut the brake lines. Wild card, and just jumps out the van.
Wild card, bitches. It's so good. Oh my gosh.
It was
Trey
so
Benson.
unexpected. Like I just had no clue that was gonna be what happened there, and it just hit me so right the first time I saw it.
So good. Oh man, I love that show so much.
Yeah,
Frank's pretty. Yeah, the gang solved. See, we got the people in the chat that know these episodes. Yeah, the gas one is really. They go they go to the gas station and they buy a bunch of gas and they put it in like
trash
cans. And they're like, they're wondering why they lose money when they drive it in their car back to the bar and it keeps spilling everywhere. And they're like, how can we keep losing? Like, oh god, they find ways to be like actually like sophisticatedly funny at times, but so then also so stupid funny at other times. And that's like the hallmark of a good show. It's like if you can be like it's not always stupid humor, but it's also like you're like, oh wait, that was like witty. Like they do the perfect blend of those two things. This is the perfect team for your guy here. QJ.
Imagine not taking QJ right now.
I know. I don't know what I'm going to do with. Imagine someone who loves 3 quarterbacks looking at this team and being like, "You just passed on all those quarterbacks for QJ." And who is my running back that I just took? Trey Benson. Jeez, just donating projected points.
The wrestling episode is great too. From It's Always Sunny. We got Roddy Piper there. It's so good. The trash man. I eat trash.
Frank's intervention. Oh yeah, the best GIF episode is actually I don't think it's the Frank's, or maybe it is the intervention one, but it's the they're all meeting with the psychiatrist, and Frank opens up about how the fact he was in like a mental institution when he was a child or whatever, and he starts talking about Froggy, the frog kid or whatever that was his best friend and his girlfriend and all that kind of stuff, and he's just like oh, you unzipped me. Yeah, he's like oh, you unzipped me, and he's like got the peanuts everywhere, and he's like losing it. He's just absolutely losing his mind. And god, Danny DeVito is just I still can't believe he did that show.
Yeah,
I cannot believe he did that show, and he is so good.
Well, they needed him, right? Like the first season is not good.
It's like okay. Yeah. He took them to like superstar status.
Yeah, that first season, from what I recall, because I've only watched the first season once, I don't think anything and you correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't much memorable stuff in the first season. Because I don't think
Eminem. It's like Eminem's first album, but worse. You're like, there's a couple like funny things that happen, but you never would expect that it would become what it has become if you watch the first season.
Right. And the fact that it's still on. It's wild.
Yeah, new season's about to come out, like literally about to come out.
Yeah. I've listened to the three of them talk like on interviews, and it reminds me so much of like me, Jesse, and Dave doing stuff for the show that we do. It's just like they're all fighting all the time, but they all come together and make something great, and no one else can fight with them because they'll all stop you together.
I just have to say, Green Man, RGT mentions Green Man. I have to shout out The Gang Gets Invincible. Yeah. I think that's actually my favorite episode, where they go try out for the Eagles. Frank slips acid into Charlie's beer, and Charlie is tripping balls and puts on Green Man and let's backstack Cam Ward here. That one's really they shoot what's his name, that Doyle McBoyle. They shoot him. Frank shoots him on accident. And whatever. That episode is
Dennis's monologue as he's running.
So yeah. Oh man, that one is. They get the guy that's supposed to be Donovan McNabb, and he's like 5'6", and like all he does is talk about McDonald's. Said go eat a hearty breakfast at McDonald's. They're like, that's not fucking Donovan McNabb. Oh shit.
It might be now.
Yeah. And then later they reuse that guy, and he pretends to be both Tiger Woods and Don Cheadle in the same. Now I was gonna say something else, and now I forgot what it was. But oh my god, yeah, all those episodes are now coming back to me with the chat. That's absolutely killing me. Yeah, fake Donovan McNabb. Christopher, there is no such thing as a Xavier Restrepo team. There's an Erik Io Manor team. I've literally drafted multiple of the same guys on 2 teams, and I never would have guessed that Erik Io Manor would be one. But we got folks in the chat that know a lot of the lines from these shows that we're talking about.
I mean, they're great shows.
Oh gosh. See, that's the point of this. That is literally the point of this Monday show. We're gonna draft some best ball teams and talk about some really stupid shit that is entertaining. Nelly albums and Always Sunny episodes. Where else can you go?
Where else are you gonna get this kind of content?
Yeah.
We're trying to make you say stop drafting best ball teams and just talk about this stuff.
What we're trying to do is tell you that like the whole debate about how many quarterbacks to take is really fucking stupid. We can talk about other stupid shit. If we're gonna waste our time, we can waste our time with a lot more like at least entertaining stuff than the stuff that we waste our time with in this world. Michael
brings up Community, and that's such a great call. Community is phenomenal.
I never got into it. I watched.
Man,
but I'm that is a me problem. I'm not. That's not a knock on the show.
Yeah, no, great show. I would give it another chance if I were you.
Does it hold up? Have you watched it recently?
I need to rewatch it, but I would assume it holds up.
Michael would have you rewatched it recently? I'm down. I'm down to give it a watch.
Yeah, I bet it holds up. I haven't watched it in years, but God, it was so good. I don't know. He's not a principal. What do you call him? Like the dean of the college.
Dean.
The dean was so funny. There's such a good scene from there where he just starts rapping, and he just he's goes off on this crazy rap, and he's I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened. He just freaks out. It's so good. So good.
Michael says gotta try it. So I will. Deal. I'm always dude, I am a TV and movie. I'm not shout out to Vadim in the Spike Week Discord. I've never seen anybody that has watched as many movies as that, but I'm always looking for things to watch. I watch every single true crime documentary that has ever come out. So I'm constantly fiending for more. So something new that's lighthearted and entertaining is right up my alley. All right, let's go. Let's get Io Manor real quick here.
I'm gonna put Dean's rap after your stream, and that's what we'll end on. We'll get you hyped to watch the show.
Wait, what did you just say?
I said I'm gonna pull up the rap that I was just telling you about, and we'll end the stream with that.
Oh Jesus Christ! Are we gonna get demonetized for this rap?
I guess we'll lose the 25 cents that YouTube's gonna give us.
I was gonna say I'm gonna invoice you for a fucking 50 cents or whatever when we get out of here.
Have I told you how much I have a short that's got 125,000 views?
Yeah, dude. Every single person that thinks that these people that are making all this money on YouTube, I'm not gonna show people what we're making because I don't want to give that away. But I'm like, guys, you have no fucking idea. If you're not selling something, what is even the goddamn point of being on YouTube? We're here to hang out and have a good time. Hopefully you guys would like to purchase the Spike Week products. That's what our hope is. You would like us enough to try the things that we've built. If you don't, cool, hang out with us. That's fine. But I don't make any money at all on this YouTube channel. It's nothing.
It's so funny. Because our channel's my other channel is pretty big, and we make some money, but that's just basically through super chats and stuff like that.
Right.
The actual content generates a third of what we actually make, and then shorts are the dumbest thing ever. Like in terms of what they pay you. I have one with 125,000 views, and I think I've made $13 off of it.
The shorts are a scam on YouTube. It's only good for YouTube. It's only good for YouTube.
It's only good for YouTube because it doesn't. If it does bring you subscribers,
it doesn't bring you.
They
watch
don't
hours.
watch
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. Yeah.
We
It's
stopped.
so crazy.
I'm not. I've considered doing it again, but it's so not worth for the content creator.
Yeah.
The time and effort to do it. It can be worth it because you can use it on a YouTube short and on Instagram and on TikTok and on whatever. That's the reason to do it. But if you're only just going to do YouTube shorts to try to make money, you're not making absolutely anything. That's hilarious.
Right, we got Tree Fitty.
Speaking of Jesse saying he knows and South Tree Fitty, that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. Shout out South. We love you. South, by the way, going to be helping us out with some newsletter work. All right, final pick. Oh, fucking slam dunk to the podium. Taj Brooks. On the Kyler Trey. Honestly,
wait a minute. You got to draft another quarterback, Eric. Who's left?
This seems. Hold on. 3 QB is supposed to work. Tyler Shuck. I should imagine taking Tyler Shuck and not another Bengal on my week 17 stack. I do like this team actually. The other team I'm gonna message underdog support, ask for a refund, but this one is pretty good. CD, Trey McBride, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, aka Genuine. Trevion Henderson at pick 70 is pretty awesome. David Montgomery at pick 75, cool. Kyler with Trey McBride, T. Higgins on the other side. B Rob at pick 100. I'm rounding up by 1. Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Warren, Trey Benson, QJ, whatever. Rob's here, so he likes it. Cam Ward, Rico Dowdle, De'Ami Brown, Io Manor, Taj Brooks. That's a good team.
Call me out for my Trey Benson exposure.
How much Trey Benson do you have, actually?
I think I'm in the 40s.
Okay, that's not that bad.
I want more, probably. I think he raised a little bit, though, or something. I don't know. But I want more.
Don't make excuses. He hasn't risen enough for that to change your exposure.
How dare you call me out?
It's okay. I only have like 42% Will Shipley, and I have him ranked like 70 spots ahead of his ADP. And I just can't, I physically can't get him. Like 15% of my drafts are streamed, and I have gotten Will Shipley in a stream draft like once in a blue moon. I truly cannot get him. I feel like people are out to spite me with Will Shipley. And it's like, you realize this guy's almost assuredly irrelevant this year. And that's the one guy I want to have. Just let me have him. I'm not asking about like Rashee Rice or
just give me
anybody cool. Just give me this guy who's not going to fucking do anything all year, for fuck's sake.
That's a good point. Jesse brings up that the Randy Savage album should have been number 1.
Randy Savage.
Do you remember that?
Is he still alive? Is he still alive?
No, dude. I wish.
I just rewatched one of the Royal Rumbles today because I put those on in the background. I put a lot of old WWE stuff on in the background while I'm working because you definitely don't got to pay. If we don't got to pay attention to The Office, you don't got to pay attention to Royal Rumble. I'll tell you that much.
To the 92 Royal Rumble, the greatest Royal Rumble of all time?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've been I'm on to 2000 or something like that. I've made it through a lot of the Royal Rumbles, and then I'm going to go back and do WrestleMania. I don't know why I did Royal Rumble first, but
it's the best event.
Yeah, it's straight nonsense. Like it's total nonsense. You definitely don't have to watch. But I think I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to do WrestleMania or Survivor Series first, but I'm going to do one of those two.
Oh, Mania is better.
It's better, but shouldn't I? But then maybe should I save that because it's better? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's
like SummerSlam and WrestleMania. Save those to the end, or
maybe do. Well, if that's the case, you should have won Survivor Series Rumble, SummerSlam.
Yeah, Survivor Series is
Mania.
fucking terrible, but I should have done that first.
You get to see the gobbledygooker.
The original early Survivor Series is like seriously the worst cinema you've ever seen in your entire life.
So bad.
It's
but
horrible.
I love it.
I love every second of it.
It's
they
so
figured
funny
out a way
'cause-
to make me. I'm gonna rewatch hours and hours of it, and it's off. And I know it's bad. It doesn't make any sense.
The best were the promos for those, where they were just like 5 guys thrown together. Ultimate Warrior would just be duct taping them together for no reason. It's his team.
They're like they did no build up to like, why are these guys teammates? And then they're like, all of a sudden they're teammates and they're going out there and they're all like buddy. And it's like, 2 weeks ago you wrestled him and you hated him. Like, how does this make any goddamn sense? Oh man, the good old days of wrestling. But
all right,
I got plenty of other stuff to rewatch.
Let's go out on this.
Let's do it.
All right.
Quick announcement for 2 of Greendale's finest. Payday is postponed until next week, so this is my freestyle rap apology. Well, I'm a peanut bar, and I'm here to say your checks will arrive on another day, another dime, another rhyme, another dollar, another stuffed shirt with another white collar. Criminals, Wall Street taking the pie, and all the black man gets is a plate of white lies. Prisons recruiting them, police be shooting them, rap artists looting them, labels all diluting them. Barack Obama is scared of me because I don't swallow knowledge and I spit it for free. Let me clear my throat. Ha ha ha. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was.
God damn it. That's so good. Welcome to the Best Ball Basement. This is what you just sat through for an hour and 42 minutes. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Hopefully we'll be back. Peace.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.